We're on the home stretch now, guys. The last Korokoro before release is now out. There are some good news, there are some bad news. Well, more like one bad news. I'll get to that later. But overall, I'm as excited as a gynecology student. October 12th can't get here fast enough. Now I'm gonna focus back to the game for a little bit, even though you don't want me to. Well, this is a Let's Play, so I kind of gotta do that. But anyway, this is the house where the Genie Trio side quest got started in the last game. And here, this guy is going to give me the Pokédex entries for all three of them, since they are not available in this game. They're only obtainable through the Dream Radar. So as a result, well, since they're not in this game, well, they gotta give you some means to have them marked as seen in the Pokédex at the very least. Okay, so he repeats the same thing. Oh, that isn't the same, though. Shrine built in honor of Landors. This is the Abundant Shrine near Route 14. Tornadus and Thunderous, I may have mentioned this before, but they are based on the Japanese deities Fujin and Raijin. Probably botched the pronunciation, but I don't really care. But, yeah, she explains basically what Tornadus and Thunderous do. We saw it last game. We won't get to see it in this game, however. So, this guy over here, anything interesting to say? Their appearances... Oh! He's talking about the Therian forms of Landorus, Tornadus, and Thunderous. This is pretty much the first hint you get at the existence of the Therian forms, which are only obtainable if you have the Dream Radar. I don't really remember the specifics because I don't have the Dream Radar, but whatever. Is this my mom? Yeah, it is. Want to know why, I guess? Because your mom interrupts you at this very spot on Route 7 in the first game. And I wonder if she's repeating the same dialogue from the first game, because this is awfully familiar, to be honest with you. Okay, I don't remember this part, however. Okay, this part definitely isn't there because the mom in the first game was not a former Pokemon Center receptionist, whereas this one is. By the way, I wonder, we never ever see receptionists in any Pokemon Centers, so what's the deal with that? Anyway, maybe I'm just nitpicking too much, and you probably don't care about that. You wanna hear me talk about Korokoro, right? Am I right? Yeah, so now that I'm fighting these trainers, now is the time to do so. So we were promised the new type chart, and the boy, is it great! And the fun thing is that, and I'm going to get back to the specifics of the type chart later. I'm just going to point out that, as we know, Pokebeach's leakers information contradicted that which was given to us in Pokemon Smash back in May. Guess what? Pokemon Smash lied to us. I honestly did not see that coming. They said that fighting was super effective against it, and that it was super effective against ice. Which is not true. Thank fucking God. But still, I'm amazed that Pokemon Smash, an official... Well, it obviously has ties to Nintendo because it's an official program, for lack of a better term. They gave us misinformation, which is weird considering that the first hint we had that there was a fairy type to start with was that episode of Pokemon Smash, and we knew that the fairy type existed based on information that turned out to be false. Think about that for a second. But as I said, I'm not complaining. Fighting is actually weak against fairy, and ice is neutral all around, so there's no need to panic there. In fact, the fairy type was designed near perfectly. Dragon sucks against it. Heck, it's even immune to dragon moves. Fighting sucks against it, which is another type that needed a significant nerf. Steel is good against it, but I'm going to get back to that later because there's a caveat. And Poison is good against it, which, of course, is very much welcome because Poison is undisputably the worst type in the game, aside from maybe Normal. Depends on how you value resistances, I guess. But Poison is going to be a lot better off now, which is good. So yeah, I was kind of lukewarm about the idea of getting a new type and all, but given the way Game Freak has handled it, I think I probably couldn't have done a better job myself, or anyone else for that matter. Game Freak balanced the fairy type perfectly. Oh, X-Scissor! Which is, to my knowledge, in the exact same spot as in the first game. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with it as I did in the first game. I'm going to give it to Excadrill. Because Slash, well, let's just say it's a bit lacking in power, and, of course, a super effective potential. X-Scissor kind of fixes that, so there we go. So, moving right along, I said I would say some more things about the Steel type. Although Steel is good against Fairy, well, which is bad in a way because it means Bullet Punch Scizor is going to have a field day against these things. Steel also took a couple of nerfs. There were only 2 changes to existing types in the type chart, both belonging to Steel defensively, as Steel is no longer, it doesn't resist Dark or Ghost anymore, which is good because, well, Steel had way too many resistances as it is, especially with the new Fairy type, so at least they did that. But if they're going to take resistances away from Steel, why the fuck not Poison? And for that matter, why not make Poison super effective against Bug again, like it was in the first generation? That would have been pretty good, and it would have probably made Poison into a very credible type all of a sudden. So, these are just minor nitpicks that, you know, Poison hasn't been buffed nearly as much as I wanted it to, but I guess since, well, these are the first type charge retcons since Gen 2. So, and Gen 2 was in 1999, mind you. It was 14 years ago. So, as a result, I can understand Game Freak not wanting to mess around with existing things too much. So, I can understand that. So, that's about it for the type chart, which corresponds with my arrival in Twist Mountain. This is Marshall of the Elite Four, who is going to tell us that we cannot pass because, well, I don't really remember the reason, but it's a post-game area, so we can't go in there yet. Okay, so the inside collapsed, and, okay, he says the same thing, so I'm gonna fly back to Mistralton City and heal myself before heading into, the Celestial Tower. So yeah, Twist Mountain, post-game area, everything between Twist Mountain and Two Blind Bridge are post-game only. And the next gym is in Opelucid, so we're gonna have to go through, Northeast Turnunova in order to get there. Well, I say the next gym, the one after Mistralton, I mean. Step-by-step Saber Medal, I think this is for, saving a certain number of times. The reason why I'm only getting it now is because I mostly use save states for my saving needs, since they're much more convenient and faster than using save files. But I do use save files on occasion as sort of a backup in case something bad happens. I also back up all my save files and save states just in case something really bad happens, like to my computer or something. Can't be too careful. So, heading over to Celestial Tower, which, like Route 7, is completely optional. Oh! That Tiny Mushroom respawns, it seems. Yep. So here we are, Tiny Mushroom. And inside Celestial Tower, you will notice that the music once again sounds like Guardia Forest from Chrono Trigger. Okay, this one here talks about the big bell at the top, which we have already rang in the first game. Here's Professor Juniper investigating something not specified in the Celestial Tower. So, yeah, you do that. Keep up the field work. I'm going to be busy training my electric here. Oh, she's going to give me something. What is it? A lucky egg! Are you serious? I could have talked to her and gotten the lucky egg, and it would have made grinding that Dynamo a lot easier. Well, it wasn't that hard to begin with, but it would have been nice if I knew it was here. For shame. But anyway, I only have myself to blame. I probably should have done my research a little bit better. Anyway, as I was saying earlier on, type chart, no complaints. Where I do have a complaint, however, well, 2 words. Mega motherfucking Garchomp. Okay, I failed at math. That's 3 words. But still, who thought this was necessary? I mean, seriously, first we got Blaziken, now Garchomp? And if you thought Sandvale was annoying, this thing gets Sand Force! Oh my god, it's like they really want that thing to be Uber, don't they? And they saw what Smogon did, and they were like, nope. We're gonna give it Sand Force, so it's not gonna be based on luck, so you're not gonna have a point anymore, and you'll be forced to put it back in Ubers. What other reasons could they possibly have for making this? And aesthetically speaking, it's kind of a mixed bag. I like what they did with its arms, which are basically scythes, but otherwise, I guess it's going to be sort of an acquired taste. Kind of like regular Garchomp in a way, to be honest. But, just so you know, there are 11 Pokemon that we know are getting Mega Evolutions. 2 of them are Uber. 1 more should be Uber, but isn't. 2 more are overused. That's 5 out of 11. Almost half. So I guess Venusaur is kind of debatable because it does lose chlorophyll when Mega Evolving, so I guess 4.5, maybe? But either way, the point is that, well, usually they gave regular evolutions and really good Dream World abilities to Pokemon that really needed them. For Mega Evolutions, however, it seems like anything goes. I mean, as I said, great! So we're going to be playing that game again. Well, the video's almost over, and Electric pretty much destroys everything in this place to start with, so I'm not really going to bother healing it. I'm going to head back to the Pokemon Center after this video is done. This is probably going to be a double program, by the way, because there is still so much more that I want to say about this, but still, Mega Garchomp, I am mega not sold on this. It's really going to need to prove its purpose to me, and I guess just about everyone else. But Smogon loves the thing so goddamn much they're probably like celebrating at this hour. Oh, and speaking of Mega Evolutions, remember how the leaker said that Mewtwo had 2 alternate forms? Well, that turned out to be true, except, well, they're Mega Evolutions. That changed during development, probably. But it does have 2 different Mega Evolutions, which are going to be version exclusive. There's going to be the one that we knew before, which is Mega Mewtwo Y, and there's a new one that looks a lot more like Mewtwo does, which is Mega Mewtwo X. The weird thing is that the leaker said that Mega Mewtwo X was supposed to be the one that would bear much more of a resemblance to Mew, yet he sort of got it backwards, even though neither of them really look like Mew, in my opinion. I guess it's, eye of the beholder kind of thing. But still, it looks much more tame in terms of its transformation than Mega Mewtwo Y, so we shouldn't get as many childhood ruin comments, but somehow I doubt it. You know how rational some Pokemon fans can be at times. And here's the Will-O-Wisp TM, and on this note, I'm going to take a break here, and after that we're going to keep climbing the Celestial Tower. One more thing before I end this video, however. I just picked up that Will-O-Wisp TM, but didn't think to use it on Volcarona, which I'm going to do right now, because let's be honest, Will-O-Wisp is a hell of a lot more useful than String Shot. Okay, now is break time.